G'day everybody, Simon here, explosive action appearing for Heavy Metallurgy for a new album review. This time I am taking a look at the new one from Häxanu. This is Totenpass. Häxanu is a two-piece American band made from two entities, AP on instruments and LC on vocals. The band may be US based, but their album name is German and there are songs on it with Greek titles. To explain, Totenpass is a German term for a burial practice of the old Orphic cults of ancient Greece. This practice involved the creation of inscribed tablets in English that can literally translate to passport for the dead. AP is actually Alex Poole, well known in the black metal scene for his solo project Chaos Moon, and for involvement in bands such as Gardgaster, Ringar, and Krieg. The pair came out of seemingly nowhere in 2020 with their debut album, The Snare of All Salvation, a savage yet melodic attack of relentless modern black metal that was equal parts Scandinavian second wave and the newer French-Canadian sound. Not experimental in the slightest, just straight ahead, fresh sounding black metal, alive with melody and emotion. Now, in February 2023, they released their sophomore album, Totenpass. The album starts with a short but lush and uplifting acoustic intro before moving straight into the second track, the only one with an English title, Death Euphoria. The track leads in with a harmonized fast trem riff over double kicks. These riffs move into a blasting section that bring in the savage, shouted vocals for the first time on the album. The main riff here is highly melodic and anthemic. It's anchored to the song as its core melody, a trait that we find on most of the tracks here on Totenpass. 2 or 3 core riffs will be repeated and altered slightly as a song evolves. Totenpass features a clean and quite modern production. It's quite easy to digest. All instruments are crisp and well balanced, but this is no brick-walled, overly processed album. Everything sounds very natural to these ears. The third track on the album, Thriambus, is lengthy at nearly 10 minutes, instantly kicks in with blasting drums and a riff that would fit on a Take album, alternating to a pitter-patter of double kicks, a more loose guitar, and those barbaric screams again. There is a constant contrast between melody and aggression on this album, expressed even further in this song as the first prominent use of Emperor-like keyboards emerge at the midway point. This track seamlessly connects to the fourth and last song on side A, entitled Threnoidia, through a short synth interlude with only a bass guitar to accompany it. It then adds a driving and pounding beat and onto a lot of second-wave Scandinavian-sounding riffs, including highly atmospheric passages of blizzard guitar playing towards the synth. Early Arcanum springs to mind as much as the Finnish ferocity of Sargeist. In effect, this is one 15-minute length song and uses melody and repetition to deliver its message. I'm reminded too of Swedish band Dawn and some of the lengthy tracks on their album Slaughterson. Fans of Ungvar and Spectral Wound would definitely enjoy and find familiarity. That particular style of black metal that uses modern production with songs that rotate between a small subset of riffs and drums that cycle from blasts to rhythmic fills and double kick patterns. The drums this time were actually handled by Laszlo Zsuhos rather than Alex, who played them on the debut album. The cover art is another outstanding piece by Adam Burke of Nightjar Illustration. I showed his excellent cover of Jade's The Pacification of Death on an earlier review for the Heavy Metallurgy. Side B opener Sparagmos fades in from guitar feedback to a dynamic drum pattern, focusing more on a direct assault riff, with an almost punky edge to it, though this is not an album that ever uses D-beat in a verse. The vocals seem even angrier and pained on this track, the guitars, while anchoring to those core riffs, often adding some extra flourish to the end of a phrasing. This is another lengthy track running at over 10 minutes. The shorter fifth track, Ephodion, has the standout riff to the rest of the album for me. It has a more stomping sound to it, and when combined with the drums make for the most head-banging track on Totenpass. It's also the most straightforward black metal song, and at only 4.5 minutes it's shorter and to the point. Before the final and the title track of the album, the two members of Haxanu give us a short and emotional acoustic guitar piece that evokes similar feelings that Dissection did previously, but their outro to Storm of the Light's Bane entitled No Dreams Breed in Breathless Sleep. Which brings us to the final track, Totenpass, that shows the most restraint of all of the black metal tracks on the album. Looser strum guitars and drums that contain the fury, often more militaristic marching sounds than the unbridled rage that we've heard so far. Totenpass is in every way an improvement over Snare of All Salvation. With the help of an improved production and a tighter focus, Haxanu have made an album that will feature on many end-of-year lists, including mine. I also want to make a call to arms here for another February 2023 release out on Amorphati, the second EP by Belgian one-man atmospheric black metal band Oerheks. The demo is entitled Landscaps Anachronismen. Two 12-minute length tracks of fairly lo-fi atmospheric black metal. This project is the brainchild of Hans Kuhls, who plays in bands as diverse as Monads and Hypothermia. The guitars are cold and almost dreamlike in their approach. The drums creative, given the confines of what tends to be a reduced scope for dynamics in atmospheric black metal. The first track is melancholic, but still hugely triumphant sounding, its underlying riff melding with the drums so that it almost resembles a singular instrument. The song is separated by an acoustic interlude that pauses the flow and allows for it to rebuild with renewed vigour. The second track dwells more in the darkness with very little light on show, the screams of anguish feeling even more poignant, the distance in the mix adding to the feeling of hopelessness. This track too interludes, this time with a soundscape of swirling synth with darkly spoken Flemish language prefacing an uptick in the anger and ferocity that the track then moves into. Away from the atmospheric and more to the direct nature of black metal, that harkens us back to the sounds that we explored on Totenpass. I highly recommend both of these releases. Links to purchase will be in the description below, or just go look wherever you can find Amorphati releases being sold. And that's it for this review. I hope you all enjoyed it, and do check these albums out. I've done other reviews here on the Heavy Metallurgy, so go check them out, and check out the reviews of my colleagues as well. You can also go and check me out on Explosive Action here on YouTube. I hope you do. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.